Syngenta says it has reached a settlement in a class action lawsuit in which plaintiffs allege the company's commercialization of new traits caused them economic losses. In June, a federal jury in Kansas awarded producers nearly $218 million. Other state-based class action suits were scheduled for later this year into 2018. The plaintiffs have said in 2013, China began rejecting U.S. corn shipments because of Syngenta's new unapproved varieties. The settlement announced last week will reportedly top $1 billion. Nebraska Extension Ag and Water Law Specialist Dave Aiken joined us Tuesday to explain what Nebraska growers might be able to expect.
It looks like it's going to be $1.4 billion. Predictions at the beginning of this were anywhere between $1 and $3 billion, so it's at least within that range.
What does this mean for farmers?
Well, my own estimate is it'll be maybe 5 to 7 cents a bushel. The 1.4 billion could work out to 14 cents a bushel, but I'm estimating at least half of that will go for attorney fee and litigation expenses and settlement expenses.
And which farmers would receive that money then?
Well, if you got a letter telling you that you were in the class and you didn't opt out, then you're in. The people who signed up with another law firm to go a different way or something like that, they're going to have to see what they find out from their law firm. But for the people, the vast majority of the farmers would be in one of these classes, and so that's who's covered by this.
Give me a background of where we were with this lawsuit.
Well, we had the jury decision in Kansas in late June where they, the jury awarded the farmers everything they asked for. And that, I think, probably heated the fire up a little bit for Syngenta to get this over with. And I think the settlement was announced on the day that the trial was scheduled to begin in Minnesota, which was going to be the second trial of the various state trials that were scheduled. Nebraska was scheduled for next spring, Nebraska and I think Illinois or something like that. So, but Syngenta decided they'd had enough. They could read the writing on the wall and said, let's do it.
Who determines the amount of money? Who says this is enough money for the class, we'll take it?
Okay, when part of the deal on the class action lawsuit is that if you elect to stay in, then you agree that the attorneys who are managing this lawsuit represent me and that they are authorized to make settlement agreements. And there was a committee of attorneys representing the different plaintiff groups from around the country who were actually a negotiating team. They were set up in March, and they've been working with a special master that's a lawyer appointed by the judge to kind of be the, kind of like the assistant judge overseeing the settlement negotiations. And so they were the ones who came out, with this settlement. When
would you expect to receive a check?
Well, it could be by the end of the year, but there's, the settlement committee has to, nail this down, get all the stuff nailed down, the details, and then they have to take it to the judge, and the judge will review it and then approve it or not. But assuming that it gets approved, then there'll probably be some kind of settlement process where people will say, okay, this is how many bushels I had and stuff, and but we'll know more about that later. But I imagine it'll be something like that. And I'm under the impression that Syngenta kind of wants to get this done, so it could be by the end of the year. But I can't guarantee that. It could be early next year, but I'm guessing probably before the end of the year.
What happens if you signed on to one of those other lawsuits specifically with a firm to go against Syngenta?
Then, well, you should have gotten something from them already, because this has been in the paper a few weeks, and so they would want to update you on kind of on where things are. If you haven't heard anything from them, I would suggest giving them a call to kind of see where they are in this, because they may have to negotiate a separate settlement with Syngenta. We just kind of have to wait and see on that.
Anything else?
No, I think it's we've got a higher degree of certainty about this than we had up to this point, and hopefully we'll get information about how it's going to play out within the next month or so.